With that, let me take a couple of questions. Ben Feller.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've been telling the American people all along that you oppose extending the tax cuts for the wealthier Americans.
Yeah.
You've said that again today. But what you never said was that you oppose the tax cuts, but you'd be willing to go ahead and extend them for a couple of years if the politics of the moment demanded. So what I'm wondering is, when you take a stand like you had, why should the American people believe that you're going to stick with it? Why should the American people believe that you're not going to flip-flop? Let me follow quickly, sir. You're describing the situation you're in right now. What about the last 2 years when it comes to your preferred option? Was there a failure either on the part of the Democratic leadership on the Hill or here that you couldn't preclude these wealthier cuts from going forward?
Juliana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Back in July, your budget office's mid-session review forecast that unemployment would be 7.7% in the fourth quarter of 2012. Will this package deal lower that projected rate? And also, is it going to do more to boost growth and create jobs than your Recovery Act? Just to follow up, the unemployment rate was just north of 8%.
Yep.
When the last Recovery Act was put in place. It's now 9.8%. Are you prepared to say today that the unemployment rate is going to go down as a result of this package?
Chuck Todd.
Mr. President, what do you say to Democrats who say you're rewarding Republican obstruction here? You yourself used in your opening statement they were unwilling to budge on this. A lot of progressive Democrats are saying they're unwilling to budge, and you're asking them to get off the fence and budge. Why should they be rewarding Republican obstruction to that?
Well,
If I may follow, aren't you telegraphing, though, a negotiating strategy of how the Republicans can beat you in negotiations all the way through the next year, because they can just stick to their guns, stay united, be unwilling to budge, to use your words, and force you to capitulate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, the members of your administration were boasting about your willingness to walk away from the Korean negotiations led to a better deal. Can you explain how this situation differed? You've bought that time now. Do you hope to use this 2-year window to push for a broader overhaul of the tax code?
yes. And Mark Amner.
Mr. President, thank you. How do these negotiations affect negotiations or talks with Republicans about raising the debt limit? Because it would seem that they have a significant amount of leverage over the White House now going in. Was there ever any attempt by the White House to include the raising the debt limit as part of this package? The sense that they'll say essentially we're not going to raise we're not going to agree to it unless the White House is able to or willing to agree to significant spending cuts across the board that probably go deeper and further than what you're willing to do.
Well,